You probably already know that your environment directly impacts your mood.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, like a cluttered desk makes you anxious, or a sunlit room just makes you feel way more energized. But what if the exact placement of your kitchen sink is actively sabotaging your career?
That's a terrifying thought.
Right. Or, what if the dark, kind of ignored corner of your bedroom is the literal reason your networking efforts just keep falling flat?
We are pulling today from a really fascinating source text. It's called Harmonizing the Home with Crystal Feng Shui.
Yeah, it's a great one.
And it argues that your floor plan isn't just architecture. It is, well, it's like a hackable circuit board for your ambitions.
Welcome to the deep dive, by the way. Our mission today is to give you a really practical, room-by-room blueprint for aligning your physical space with your actual life goals.
Which I love because it completely reframes how we interact with our living spaces. We are so conditioned to just view our homes as these passive containers for our stuff,
Yeah, exactly. You buy a sofa, you push it against the longest wall, and you just call it a day.
Right. But this text treats spatial organization as an active, continuous dialogue between your physical environment and your psychological goals.
Yeah.
It's not passive at all.
Okay, let's unpack this. The core idea here is that arranging your high traffic areas using Crystal Feng Shui, it isn't just about making a room look ready for a magazine cover.
No, not at all.
It's this ancient, really complex system of spatial mapping that balances the fundamental elements. So we're talking wood, fire, earth, metal, and water alongside yin and yang. And by intentionally shifting the energy of your physical space, you can create these massive reverberating positive effects throughout your entire life.
What's fascinating here is that this approach provides a literal map for those ambitions. It takes concepts that are incredibly abstract.
Like wanting to cultivate more wisdom.
Exactly. Or seeking a major career pivot. And it translates them into tangible physical interior design choices. You are no longer just hoping for a better career. You are constructing the physical architecture for that career to arrive.
But before we can start placing crystals or rearranging all the heavy furniture, we kind of have to understand the playing field, right?
We do.
So the text relies on a foundational tool called the Bagua map. And Bagua literally translates to 8 trigrams in Chinese.
I like to think of the Bagua map less like a basic grid and more like almost like a giant tic-tac-toe board you drop directly over your floor plan.
That's a really good visual for it. It divides your space into 9 distinct energetic zones. So you have the 8 outer sectors and then 1 central hub.
And each node corresponds to a specific life theme. So if energy is blocked in your wealth node, you don't necessarily have to tear down a wall. You apply a specific crystal or color to act as almost an energetic needle.
Right, restoring the flow. Yeah. But here is where the text threw me for a loop. There are 2 completely different methods for laying this map over your floor plan, and it depends entirely on whether you live in a freestanding house or an apartment.
This is where a lot of people get tripped up, to be honest. But the logic is actually quite sound when you look at the mechanics of environmental exposure.
Okay, lay it out for us.
So the first approach is the traditional, or the compass method. You basically find magnetic north, and you align the career sector of the map exactly with that true north coordinate.
Which naturally dictates that the south becomes your reputation area, east becomes ancestors, and so on.
Right, and the text specifies this is strictly for freestanding houses surrounded by land. But if you are in an apartment, you use the front door method.
And this is where I get confused.
Well, you basically throw the compass out the window and simply align the bottom row of the Bagua map with the wall containing your main entrance door.
See, I have to push back on that logic. I'm really struggling with this front door method. If north is magnetic north, why on earth would signing a lease on a third-floor apartment suddenly change the laws of physics? Is the text just making a concession for convenience?
It sounds like a shortcut, I know, but it's actually about how energy behaves in different ecosystems. Like, a freestanding house is battered by the literal elements, right?
Sure.
It interacts directly with the north wind, the southern sun exposure, the physical earth around its foundation. Its energetic signature is deeply tied to the magnetic poles.
Okay, I follow that.
But an apartment, however, is a suspended, enclosed microclimate. It is largely shielded from the true elements. So the text argues that the primary energetic input isn't the magnetic pole. It's the architectural mouth of the space.
The front door.
The front door. That is where all your physical and psychological energy enters.
Oh, wow. That reframes it completely. It's about where the system originates.
Precisely. Think about the layout of a typical apartment. Usually you walk through a front door and your eyes are immediately drawn straight across the unit to the main windows.
The primary source of light.
Exactly. And because that far opposite wall is where the sunlight naturally hits, it makes perfect elemental sense that the reputation section of the map, which we'll see is ruled by the fire element, would naturally land right there in that sunny spot.
That makes so much sense.
So the front door method isn't a cheat code. It actually aligns the elemental energy of the map with the physical reality of an enclosed, suspended box.
I love that. It honors the reality of the space you actually inhabit. So, assuming you've laid this grid over your home, whether by compass or front door, let's actually walk through the mechanics of these zones. Let's start at the absolute center.
The heart of the home.
Right. Before we move to the front line where the energy first enters.
Well, the center is critical because it acts as the engine room. The text refers to this as the health and center area, and its defining theme is foundation. It's governed entirely by the earth element.
Which makes sense. You want the center of gravity in a building or, a life to be incredibly stable. But practically, how does the text suggest we anchor this engine room?
The primary directive here is actually to avoid clutter.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If you treat the center of your home like a dumping ground for mail, shoes, laundry.
Which is so easy to do.
Right. But you are essentially clogging the engine room.
Yeah.
That dense, chaotic energy prevents the core from distributing power to the outer edges of your life, your career, your relationships.
Wow. Okay, so how do we fix it?
To actively stabilize it, the text suggests bringing in deep earth tones, so yellows, oranges, and browns. And if you are using crystals, you want grounding stones. Smoky quartz is highly recommended here.
Oh, I've seen that one. It's beautiful.
Really is. And also golden tiger's eye or petrified wood.
Petrified wood is such a brilliant recommendation for an earth zone. I mean, it is literally organic matter that has over millions of years transmuted into solid stone. Talk about a foundational anchor. So, if the center is the engine, let's look at the intake valve. The bottom middle square. In the compass method, this is north. In the front door method, it's the wall with your entrance. This is the career and life path area. And the theme is simply work.
And unlike the grounded earth of the center, the element here is water. This zone is entirely about momentum, flow, and depth. You don't want your career to be a stagnant pond, right?
No, definitely not.
You want it to be a flowing river.
And to engineer that flow, the text says to lean into the color black and use crystals like black obsidian or black tourmaline. There's also aquamarine and blue quartz in there too.
Yeah.
But the most actionable advice here is the use of mirrors.
Mirrors are huge in this practice.
Yeah, adding mirrors or asymmetrical fluid shapes to your entryway.
Because mirrors are the ultimate Feng Shui stand-in for water. I mean, if you live in an apartment, you probably can't install a physical water feature by your front door.
No, your landlord would probably have a fit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But a mirror creates visual depth. It mimics the reflective, flowing surface of a lake, actively pulling energy into the space and keeping it moving.
Okay, so let's follow that flow to the bottom left corner. This is the knowledge and self-cultivation section. The theme here is wisdom. And interestingly, it's ruled by a combination of both wood and water elements.
Which perfectly illustrates the symbiosis of the elements. Water feeds wood. The flowing energy of your life path feeds the upward growth of your intellect and self-awareness.
And the colors reflect that, right?
Yes. Blues, greens, black, cream, taupe, yellow, beige. And to cultivate this, the text suggests creating a dedicated focal point, like a small altar or a reading nook with floor pillows. You also want to utilize crystals like celestite or blue apatite, which are historically associated with mental clarity, or even petrified wood and aquamarine.
And there is a very specific, almost psychological action item for this wisdom corner. The text advises placing photos of people who inspire you in this specific spot.
Yes, I really like this part.
And it makes a point to say they can be dead or alive, famous or completely unknown to the world, as long as they represent individuals who have your best interests in mind. Like, you could literally have a framed photo of your deeply supportive grandmother sitting right next to a portrait of Marcus Aurelius.
Because you are creating a physical mastermind group. You are surrounding yourself with a visual representation of mentorship, embedding the energy of continuous learning right into the architecture of your room.
Which creates a very elegant transition to the opposite side of the front line, the bottom right corner.
The helpful people and travels area.
Yes. If the bottom left is about internal wisdom, the bottom right is about external networks. The theme is mentorship and synchronization with the outside world. And the ruling element shifts to metal.
Metal represents structure, conductivity, and communication. So to activate this, the text recommends incorporating colors like gray, white, and black.
And for crystals?
For crystals, you are looking at clear quartz, which is literally used in modern electronics as an oscillator and amplifier, alongside snowflake obsidian, pyrite, hematite, and aquamarine. You are told to add round, metallic objects, globes to represent travel maps, and electronics.
See, this was the moment the text totally won me over. Electronics! It explicitly says to put things like your computer setup or your Wi-Fi router in this metal-ruled bottom right sector. So by placing your router here, you are turning this corner into a literal energetic networking hub for your life.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, absolutely. This is a masterclass in how ancient spatial mapping flawlessly adapts to modern technology.
It really is.
The metal element has always governed communication and the bridging of distances. 2,000 years ago, that might have been represented by a metal coin for trade or a bell for signaling.
Right.
Today, our global networks, our long-distance mentorships, our ability to summon a helpful person to our door, it is all facilitated by the conductive metal inside our electronics. Your Wi-Fi router isn't just a piece of plastic. It is modern metal pulsing with connective energy. Placing it in the helpful people gua amplifies its purpose.
Is just brilliant. Okay, so we've mapped the foundation and the front line. Now let's step deeper into the home. We are moving to the middle left and middle right sections.
The flanks.
Conceptually, if the front of the house is how we enter the world, these middle flanks represent the tension between what supports us from the past and what we push outward into the future.
Let's examine the middle left first. This is the ancestors and health area. The overarching theme is nourishment and deep-rooted support.
And the element is wood. The text emphasizes colors like green and blue, and crystals like emerald, peridot, petrified wood, and smoky quartz. But what fascinated me were the physical decor recommendations.
The stripe.
Yeah. Beyond just adding literal wood furniture or healthy plants, it suggests using tall, thick striped patterns on your walls or fabrics, because visually those vertical lines mimic the trunks of ancient, deeply rooted trees.
It's a psychological cue for upward growth and unshakable stability. You are drawing nourishment from your roots, but directly across from it on the middle right flank, the system demands a completely different psychological focus.
Right. This is the children and creativity area.
Exactly. The theme isn't about looking back at your roots. It is about play, imagination, and the creative process. Things you are generating right now.
And the elemental shift is severe. We go from the organic rooted wood on the left to the sharp structured metal element on the right.
The colors move to stark whites and playful pastels.
And the crystals to bring in are clear quartz, rainbow moonstone, pyrite, and hematite. The text says to incorporate playful, kid-friendly decor and to lean heavily into metallic finishes and gold accents.
You can see the necessary friction between these two flanks, right?
Yeah.
You need the heavy-rooted green energy of your ancestors to keep you stable. But you need the light, reflective, pastel, metallic energy of youth and creativity to keep you evolving.
But I have to throw a wrench into this because this is where the grand theory of Feng Shui collides with the brutal reality of modern floor plans.
Okay.
Look at the elemental contrast we just discussed. Wood and organic growth on the left, metal and structured playfulness on the right. What happens if you are a listener and your apartment's layout dictates that your sleek, metallic, modern kitchen is jammed right into the rooted ancestor area?
That happens a lot.
Or worse, your heavy, plumbing-filled bathroom happens to be sitting squarely in your creativity and clay area. Are you just energetically doomed unless you hire a contractor and knock down walls?
That is the ultimate dilemma of applying ancient spatial maps to pre-built modern housing. And it's exactly why the text focuses on crystal Feng Shui. The crystals act as energetic remedies.
Oh, so you don't need to remodel.
You don't need to rebuild your house to fix the flow. If your water-heavy, stagnant bathroom is sitting in your creativity zone, it's dampening your imaginative output. So you intentionally bring in a piece of rainbow moonstone to introduce light and lunar reflection, or clear quartz to act as an amplifier cutting through the stagnation.
That is so practical.
And if your highly industrial kitchen is sitting in the ancestor area, threatening to chop down that wood energy, you introduce an emerald or peridot, and you specifically bring in a thriving, healthy plant to reestablish the organic growth. You are actively utilizing these materials to overwrite the energetic signature of whatever room happens to be trapped in that square.
You're using geological tools to hack the architectural flaws. It's brilliant.
Okay.
Okay, so we've stabilized the center, optimized the entry, and balanced the flanks. Now we arrive at the absolute rear of the home, the back wall.
The power zones.
Exactly. Conceptually, we've moved past our roots and our daily work, and we are now looking at our ultimate high-stakes, outward-facing desires: wealth, fame, and love.
The energy in the back of the house is undeniably more intense. It is about manifestation. Let's look at the top left corner. This is wealth and prosperity.
The theme is abundance. The elements here are a powerful combination of fire and wood. So you are looking at deep, rich colors: purples, reds, blues, and greens.
And the recommended crystals are highly vibrant. Amethyst is the heavy hitter here.
Along with charoite, ruby, fire opal, petrified wood, and smoky quartz. But the primary action item to enhance this wealth area surprised me with its simplicity. The text simply says to add healthy, upward-growing plants.
Goes back to the mechanics of the elements. In this system, wood fuels fire. A healthy, rapidly growing plant is a visual and literal representation of wood. By placing it in a zone that requires fire to activate abundance, you are providing the energetic fuel.
That is fascinating.
If the plant is thriving and expanding, your subconscious registers that the energy of your own prosperity is also thriving and expanding.
Which perfectly sets up the very top center sector, the fame and reputation area. The theme here is acclaim, how the broader world perceives you. And the element strips away the wood and becomes pure, volatile fire.
This is the spotlight. The colors are exactly what you would expect from an open flame. Vivid reds in deep burgundies.
And the crystals must match that intensity. So the text points to red jasper, red tiger's eye, ruby, and fire opal.
And the physical decor relies on visual psychology. You add literal fire if you can, candles, fireplaces, things like that. But you also add triangular shapes.
Triangle.
Yeah, because geometrically, a triangle perfectly mimics the shape of a flame pointing upward. It is all about visibility and upward mobility.
Which brings us to the final corner, the top right of your home. This is the love and marriage area. The overarching theme is passion, and the governing elements are a grounding mix of earth and fire.
The colors here are warm, inviting, and highly saturated. Red, pink, white, orange, burgundy, yellow.
And the crystals are deeply tied to emotional resonance. Rose quartz is the classic choice, alongside pink mangano calcite, ruby, fire opal, pyrite, and hematite. But, and here's where it gets really interesting, the text delivers one incredibly strict, non-negotiable rule for this specific sector. Whatever accessories or small furniture you place here, they must be in pairs. 2 of everything.
Pairs. Never single items. 2 lamps, 2 nightstands, 2 crystals.
So let me challenge the strictness of this. What if you live alone, you are fiercely independent, and you have this one giant, incredibly comfortable, expensive armchair right in that top right corner? You love this chair. It is your sanctuary. Is your love life fundamentally blocked because you have a solo chair occupying the marriage corner?
This raises an important question, and it gets to the very core of why spatial psychology works. It is not about an ancient curse being placed on you by a piece of upholstery.
Right.
It is about the psychology of intentionality and what you are signaling to your own subconscious every single day. A single chair, no matter how luxurious, undeniably signals solitary energy. It is a physical declaration that says this space is engineered for one. If the theme of that specific sector is passion and partnership, governed by the warmth of earth and fire, you want the physical environment to reflect a readiness for that partnership.
It's the visual friction between what you say you want and what you've actually built room for.
Exactly. When you intentionally place 2 matching pillows on a sofa, or set 2 rose quartz crystals side by side on a shelf in that corner, you are purposefully and continuously signaling a readiness to share your life. You are carving out the physical space for another entity, which fundamentally shifts the psychological atmosphere of the room from solitary containment to shared potential.
So what does this all mean? We've mapped the entire system, from the grounding, stabilizing earth in the center of your floor plan to the watery, reflective flow of your career entryway, all the way back to the fiery, paired passion of your love corner. It means you are being handed a tangible toolkit for your own psychology.
You are stepping out of the role of a passive occupant in your own home.
Right. Whether you are deliberately placing a piece of amethyst in your wealth corner to fuel your financial focus, or you are hanging a mirror near your front door to get your career momentum flowing, you are taking an active architectural role in harmonizing your life. This text provides a phenomenal shortcut. You no longer have to wander around your apartment guessing why a certain room feels stagnant or why a certain area of your life feels blocked. You have a blueprint to physically curate an environment that relentlessly supports your ambitions, your networks, and your relationships.
And if we truly trust the premise of this text, that the Bagua map perfectly mirrors your internal goals, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over today. Take a real, unflinching look around your physical space. Look at the areas of your house that are naturally the most cluttered, the most neglected, or the ones you constantly keep the doors shut on.
Oh, that's a good point.
What if those physical blind spots correspond exactly to the areas of your life you have been subconsciously avoiding? If your helpful people corner is buried under stacks of old mail, are you actively shutting out mentorship? If your wealth corner has a dying, neglected plant, are you starving your own financial potential? And more importantly, what happens to the trajectory of your life when you finally decide to clean that corner up?
That is a phenomenal question. It brings us full circle. Your home isn't just holding your furniture, it is actively reflecting your life back to you. The only question is whether you are ready to look at the reflection, and more importantly, whether you are finally ready to start moving the pieces around to change the picture. Think about that the next time you walk through your front door. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We will catch you on the next one.